Now, even as CORD leaders rallied their supporters at Uhuru Park in Nairobi, there was an uneasy calm in several parts of the country.
We join Linda Ogutu now with a look at how Saba Saba Day was marked in the counties.
We launch today the Okoa Kenya.
While CORD leaders were rallying up the masses in Nairobi for Saba Saba at Uhuru Park, there were different reactions to the rallies in different parts of the country. Heavy police presence was witnessed in the coastal city, with the county commissioner carrying out aerial surveys in the county. Few businesses were operating as traders were cautious of any eventuality that would affect their businesses.
Leo ni kama Jumapili ukiangalia mji leo. Ushona nini kwa sababu ya meeting itakayofanywa Nairobi.
Mombasa County Commissioner Nelson Mara says the aerial survey will not stop until he is sure that the county residents are safe.
Na helikopta ingine ya usiku wakifikiri wanaweza kujificha hata usiku. Tutamount ile ya mataa.
Things were not different in Kakamega.
Town haina watu, biashara imerudi chini.
For Nakuru residents, it was all about coping with the heavy police contingent that was deployed in the area. For them, Saba Saba meant little or nothing.
Hata kesho tuendelee hivyo, wale ni wakubwa na sisi tuko wadogo. Sasa wale wakipikana huko hatuwezi kuingilia maneno yao, kwa ajili sisi ni wale watu wale wa kujitafutia. Tukiingia kwa wale watakula mshahara, sisi hatukuli mshahara.
Attempts to create chaos by youth in Kisumu were however thwarted by the huge contingent of police in the town. Some tried to light bonfires in the middle of the road to no avail. The presence of the police in the town seemed to agitate the youth.
Polisi ndio wametanda hapa. Hata polisi wakitoka hapa saa hii mtaona tuko Saba Saba.
Askari watolewe hapa wapelekwe huko Mpeketoni na Lamu na wapi. Hapa hivi hakuna vita. Sijui tunawanangoja nini.
For now, many wait to see the aftermath of the rally and what the CORD leaders will have achieved at the end of the day. Linda Ogutu, KTN Prime.
Well, in the last week or so, social media sites have been inundated with messages of nationalism and peace. And for those who did not attend the rally at Uhuru Park, they could comfortably follow minute-by-minute updates of the events on their new media feeds. But back in 1990, the luxury of citizen reporting did not exist. The journalist was the sole source of information. A veteran journalist, Kathleen Openda, spoke to KTN about her experience in covering what became a historic event.
The first Saba Saba was a little scary. There was a lot of tension in the country. People had been detained. There were stories of people being picked up, politicians locked up. I think there was one activist who had even hidden in the US embassy or something. So there was a lot of tension around. The key players, well, two key players around that time, Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia, had been arrested. At least that's what we heard. And so the dawn of Saba Saba was a dawn of real tension in the country. We tried to hang around and see what else could be happening, but nothing was happening. And so we went to other areas of the city just to see, what was going on. Was there activity in other areas? Because then there was no mobile phone, there was no internet, Twitter, so you had to physically look for it. And we were somewhere down in River Road and reporting on some clashes, and I got separated from my camera person, Mutali, I remember it was. He was up on a roof trying to get the whatever aerial shot that they always try to do. Yeah. So I got separated from him, and then I see this GSU guy bearing down on me, and I'm like, I'm a journalist. Trying to show him my notebook and my pen, and he's like, nyinyi ndio mnaandika twaf, twaf. So both my elbows and so that I wouldn't be able to write the story. I don't know. Yeah. But it was scary in the sense that that kind of violence I had never experienced. When the story was so blatantly killed, I mean, we'd been there, we saw it, and we knew that what was being carried as the news story was not the truth. So it kind of, for us journalists, put us on the front line of agitating as well for this greater democratic space, because if we could not tell our story, if we could not report on the truth, then what kind of society were we living in? Would I be able to practice my craft as honestly and as professionally as I would like to be, or as I was trained to be? It meant no, that it affected not only then the political figures, it was a fight for every Kenyan.
In the aftermath of the violence, however brief and however brutal,
for a few days after that, we would still report on various skirmishes around Kamkunji, the Machakos country bus station area, run-ins with the police here and there. And also, at that time, there was a lot of, the activism, especially from the lawyers, from civil society. And so there was all this activity, people giving statements, people protesting, people making their views known. And all it was really was a demand for greater democratic space, for plural multi-partyism, more parties than one, and just an agitation for change. And I think after Saba Saba, the impetus grew stronger because then those voices were not quelled. It did not go away. It was not actually in the mainstream, because I remember even around Saba Saba, some officials tried to pigeonhole it as a particular ethnic group that was in power, used to be in power, was no longer in power, was the one that was agitating for change. But when you looked at the whole scenario, there were Kikuyus in there were Luos in there were Luyas, there were young people, there were old people. So that theory did not work.